And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a matchup between the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. The final playoff push is upon us. It's Week 12 of the NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. Now it's Brown. And he'll wind up with about 6, up past the 30 to the 31.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. They'll run. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down. This defense looking for an early stop. This is 3rd down and 6. Back to throw. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. And a very short pickup there across the 15 to the 16. Give him 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. On 2nd down, Cook. And down he'll go at the 25. They get 9 out of that. A carry I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched him more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
First down, here's the run with Cook. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Gun! All right, here we go. Green, 39! Green, 39!
They'll set up to throw. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack.
Well, competition comes up in so many different ways. And right now, this unit, their competition is who's going to get to the quarterback the most times. Had about 5 sacks last week. We just saw their first one of this game.
After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. That's caught over the middle by Seals-Jones. They'll get 19 out of this, but it will still bring up a 4th down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs. So they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Franklin. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. This is Brown on the carry. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. 10 more there and another 1st down. Relatively small sample size, but that's his longest run of the 1st quarter. Bounced it out to the outside to make it successful.
And to get there, you actually need some help. It's not just your pure speed getting to the corner, making sure that the blocking is taken care of inside so the pursuit doesn't get you. And oftentimes, those wide receivers, tight ends that might be flexed out, they've got to control the edge and make sure no one from the outside can spill the play before he gets there.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Lucky 56.
He'll look to throw. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
We talk all the time about playmakers on offense, but let's face it, there are plenty of playmakers on defense, too. I think we just saw an example of one, didn't we? Not force that incompletion.
Yeah, he's a great corner. They got a couple of them on that side of the football. On 3rd down, that's Brown. And they will.
The 1st down line was, this defense created their own line of scrimmage. They won every battle up front, and a lot of times that is one-on-one. And if you win your one-on-ones enough times, your defense is going to be pretty good. They had more people to the football and snuffed out the play.
No. Check. Patriot.
They'll look to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's Franklin. And he's going to have the 1st down, yardage to the 35. Give them credit. They knew what they wanted to dial up on 4th. They executed it for 9 yards, and the offense stays out there.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. A false start backs him up 5. 1st and 15.
Set. Blue 90. Blue 90.
They'll run it here with Brown. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. He'll get 3 of those penalty yards back here, leaving him with a 2nd and 12. Brandon Gaudin, second quarter begins with the Vikings holding the football, but they face a 2nd and long to start things out.
Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39. Hot.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And tough sledding. He'll get maybe a yard. Stop short of the 35.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
3rd and 11. And some extra depth in the secondary here. They're in the dime. Back to throw here. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
So the field goal there caps what winds up to be an 11-play drive.
Well, partner, that's a lot of offense to run there to only get 3 points. So I just wonder, are they going to recycle those plays because they were successful in getting 3? Or do you go to another section of the playbook trying to find ones that get you into the end zone, get you 6?
And New York set to take the field. And to be frank, they're just in a tough spot. It's only November, already eliminated from playoff contention. I know their fan base doesn't want to hear that, but that's the case. What are they fighting for now going forward?
You know exactly what they're fighting for. Is that word that some people don't want to hear, but it's pride.
Draft. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go draft, but pride's better, right?
You know something? You're right, because that's part of it, but that's 2 different mindsets. That's front office mindset, draft position, where are we going to be and what do we need to get? And then the players and the coaching staff right now, pride. Can they win some games and feel better about themselves despite the fact they have no shot at the playoffs?
That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down. Moving backwards on 1st down, never a good thing. What does that do for the mindset on 2nd down?
Well, it changes your play call, definitely, because as a play call, you're advancing yourself thinking, okay, we're going to get a gain here. Now you've got to go back in reverse, come up with something to pick up not just the yardage lost, but gain a few extra.
And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. It's a 9-yard pickup on the play, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Leopard.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. The 13 yards that time of the 1st. And, Charles, you look at this offense, their struggles moving the ball well documented. Dead last in the NFL in 1st downs, but signs of life there.
Yeah, and you and I do, I think, a really good job of respecting the game and respecting the teams. But this squad, they're in position now where their fan base gets excited when they pick up a 1st down. They cheer almost like they picked up a touchdown.
And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play as we'll get a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this 2nd quarter. And the Vikings are going to beef up their secondary here. 6 DBs on 3rd. Looking to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 30. And he will bring this across midfield to the 49-yard line. Unfortunately for him, if last week was any indication, we knew a pick was coming at some point. Last week it was interception after interception, and here we go again.
We actually quit counting last week at a certain point because I thought I was going to run out of fingers, all right, because I'm not all that skilled as a mathematician. But you're right. It felt like a matter of time, and you got to think the guys on defense, they couldn't wait for this opportunity after what they saw on tape.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. And he slings one that's incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's 3rd down.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
The completion there winds up a wash, and it'll bring up 4th down. Here's Matt Weil now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. Oh, it's a wobbler here. This is taken at the 15. Only 29 yards on the punt there. Definitely not his best. And it'll be Giant football, 1st and 10. And here comes the Giants offense back out onto the field. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now. And I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
It's a 4-yard pickup, and that'll make it a 2nd down. They'll come up 2nd and 6 now from the 24. Handoff comes to Cook. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 3 yards is half of what they needed. Now can they get the other 3 here on 3rd down? The Giants on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This time it's 3rd and 3. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. More from Minneapolis after this. The Giants on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3.
Back there, not Philly. Here we go.
They'll run it. Here's Cook. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a 1st down. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think him open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
They go play action here on 1st down. On the move to it, and he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down.
Well, the pass rush has been a real strength of late. They know how to get after the quarterback.
Absolutely. 4 sacks last week. That's their first one here. Anything in particular you've seen from them or on film?
I think that they're winning athletically up front, winning those one-on-one battles, but also when the offensive line wants to keep everyone in and mass protect, they know how to scheme their way back to the quarterback as well.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. On play action, they'll throw. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more.
Okay, let's go back a little bit and see if my schooling comes to the front. What's that old saying? Those who forget the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. That's the same guy who's gotten back-to-back sacks. I think a double team may be in order.
They just do get the playoff as he'll look to throw. He's going to let this one go deep. And that one incomplete. Had some position but couldn't hold on, and it brings up 4th down. I know he wants to get his team back in the game, but a 50-50 ball right there that maybe was a little questionable.
Yeah, he's pretty lucky to get that one back. I think that sometimes these quarterbacks play with a lot of confidence that borders on arrogance, and that can put your team in some dutch.
Yeah, especially maybe want to look at some safer routes after the interception he had that ended their last drive. Meanwhile, checking in on what's going on in Baltimore. The Dolphins have jumped out to an early lead in their ball game. That one tight to this point, and you'd have to imagine it'll stay tight throughout. They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. Flushed out right. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
Throw left side complete. That's Franklin. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense, as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. That'll be incomplete with 9 seconds now showing on the clock. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Here's Matt Weil now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. Final play of the first half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10. They'll throw now on the final play. Wide open receiver complete. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. So we've reached halftime here in Minnesota with the Vikings on top. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. These offenses seemingly still back at the hotel for the first half.